Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in the August 2025 dollar bead box and dollar bead bag. I have a coupon code for the dollar bead box. It's THJ2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. So since I'm making 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings, I've got the majority of both necklaces and earrings made already so that it wouldn't take so much time. Actually, I started out planning to just make them and do like a finished jewelry video, but I decided that wouldn't be a very big finished jewelry video. 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings. Plus, I'd just rather do it with you all anyway. So I've got most of this one made. I'm using the 3mm fire polish beads that were in the dollar bead bag. They're green turquoise nebulous luster. And I'm using the check glass maple leaves that came in the box. They're white and green opal with black wash. They're 11 by 13 millimeters. I'm using the check glass melon beads. They're 8 millimeters. They're light teal with gold wash. And I'm using the 7mm check glass turbine beads. They're opaque white with turquoise wash. And I've got some pieces of 22 gauge German style wire, some 4mm jump rings that I'm going to connect them with. I've already wrapped one of my leaves. I'm going to use one of my leaves as a dangle to go off the extender chain, and I'm going to use one of the leaves as my pendant. So I'm going to wrap these last 2 to go on these. I've done a section with fire polish bead, and I'm putting some little 11/0 silver seed beads between all the beads. Of course you don't have to do that, but I just like to do that to put a little bit of silver in there. So I've got a fire polish bead, a spacer bead, a seed bead, one of the turbine beads, a seed bead, and a fire polish bead. And then for this one, I've got a fire polish bead, a seed bead, a melon bead, a seed bead, and a fire polish bead. And I've got one of the links with the turbine bead, one of the links with the melon bead, 2 of the links with the turbine bead, 1 link with a melon bead, and 1 link with a turbine bead. And I'm going to finish this side just like that. So I've got my wire here, and I'm going to do this the way I do it when I'm having to make a bunch of links at once. Of course, I only have 2 to make here, but I just thought I'd show you how I do it when I have to make like, a dozen or something. So I've got my piece of wire. It's about a little over 3 inches long. I'm going to go down about 1 inch, bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to drop that, and I'm going to do that with this wire. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers, put the round nose pliers in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the tool, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take the short piece of wire under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. I'm going to do that with this one. It just saves some time if you do as much as you can while you've got one tool in your hand, instead of having to put down a tool and pick up a tool every step. So that's why I do it this way. So I'm going to put my round nose pliers in there, round nose pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the pliers, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, the short piece under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. I think I need to zoom in just a little bit. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this part down and push this part up a little until my long piece of wire is coming out the center of my loop, like that. I'm going to hold on to my loop, and I'm going to wrap this short piece of wire around the long piece of wire 3 times. I'm going to do that with this other one. Bring this part down, push this part up a little. Wrap the short piece of wire around the long piece of wire. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. I'll get my half that I've already got made out of my way here. Cut off my extra wire. Do that on both of them. Now I'm going to take a fire polish bead, a seed bead, a melon bead, a seed bead, and another fire polish bead. Now I'm going to take a seed bead, a fire polish bead, a seed bead, a turbine bead, seed bead, and a fire polish bead. Now I'm gonna take just a second to reposition my camera. I'm having trouble staying in frame. Okay, so let's see if this is better now. So now I'm gonna take my link that I'm making here, straighten it up some. I'll take my pliers and I'm gonna go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Do that on both of them. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the beads. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this wire under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the beads. I'll do that with this one. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. Push this up a little. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Wrap about 3 times. It's about, you usually can't wrap more than 3 times. I'm going to do that with this one. I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to tuck in my little burrs, and I like to use my crimping pliers, the little half circles at the end there, to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. You just need to be real careful when you've got a little bead like this fire polish bead at the end of it here, because if you're not careful, you can crack that. It's not as easy to crack as a little crystal like a bicone or something, or a seed bead, but you still need to be careful. So now I'm going to attach my links to make the rest of this side of my necklace. So I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring, open it up, and attach this link to the part of my necklace that I've already got made here. I need my smaller bent chain nose pliers to handle these tiny little jump rings. Close my jump ring back really well. Now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring, and attach this one to this one. So now I've got both sides of my necklace made. And now I'm going to take my leaf bead here and make my pendant. I've got a ball head pin. Put my leaf bead on here. And whenever I'm wrapping something that's got a little dip in it like that, I like to put something to wrap, like a little seed bead at the top. I just find it easier to wrap if I've got that bead to wrap against rather than trying to wrap against that little dip there. Of course, you don't have to do that. That's just something that I do. So now I'm going to take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Around those pliers. Put them in the crook of the bend. Bend the wire back. These ball head pins I have here are very thin. I only use them to make dangles and things because they're so thin. I'm going to rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. This part down, push this part up a little. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers. Just wrap until there's no more room to wrap. It's not a very good wrapping job there. And that looks terrible, so hold on. Hold on, let me get another ball head pin and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to try this again. I just have a real hard time with these ball head pins because they're so thin and soft. If you run your fingers over them for a little bit and warm up the metal, it'll help make it a little bit stiffer. But it's still kind of hard to deal with, but I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to put my leaf on here and my seed bead. Take my pliers, go to the tip of the pliers, bend the wire over a 90-degree angle. Around those pliers in the crook of the bend. Bend the pin back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. I think I might be alright this time. I think warming it up a little helped. I'm going to try to start wrapping. Wrap till there's no more room to wrap. It's still not the best loop I've ever made, but I guess it'll have to do. Now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to tuck in my little burr. You need to be really careful here against that seed bead. You don't want to crack if you use a seed bead, and I might have just cracked mine. No, I don't think I did. I think it's still there. But it's really easy to crack those little seed beads if you're using a seed bead at the top. So now I'm going to put this together. Zoom back out a little bit now. I already had wrapped one of my leaves because I'm going to use it as a dangle. I think I'll use this as a dangle because it's not as, this is a prettier loop than that one is. So I've got an 8mm jump ring here. And I'm going to connect my two sides together with. Now I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring. Attach my leaf to my 8mm jump ring. And now I'm going to put some chain up here. Got a couple of pieces of chain. And I don't remember how long they are, so hold on and I'll look. there, about 4 inches. I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Put one side of my chain on. I'm going to do that on this other side. And I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring and my lobster clasp. Attach it to my chain. Take another. No, I don't know why I have another 4mm jump ring. I didn't need another one. Just like an extra one out there. I got a 8mm jump ring. I'm going to put on here. Then I have a little piece of extender chain that's about 2 inches long. And then now I'm going to take the end of this extender chain because it opens easy. And I'm going to open it up. Put my leaf on here. So there's my dangle. And there's my necklace. Well, appear to be all thumbs today. There we go. So, now, got it all twisted here. So there's my necklace. So hold on, I'll get my stuff together and make my earring. I'll be back. Okay, I've got one of my earrings made and I'm going to make the other one now. This is what it looks like. And I went ahead and wrapped my leaf, and I just did it just like I did the leaf that I did on the pendant. And now I'm going to make a link here. I'm going to do a fire polish bead and a seed bead and a melon bead. I appear to have lost my seed bead. I know I had two laying out here. The wrong color seed beads. Okay, now seed bead and another fire polish bead. That's what I got. So now I'm going to make a simple loop. And I want my loop to face opposite this loop, because if that way it'll hang right when I hang, my leaf will hang facing out. So I'm going to try to make this. I'll probably have to adjust it after I make it. I usually do. And I'm going to go just a little bit above that fire polish bead so that I don't crack my bead. Bend the pin over at a 90-degree angle. Take my cutters, cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. Take my round nose pliers and go to the tip here, make sure there's no wire sticking out, and I'm going to start rolling back a loop. And I like to go down pretty far on the barrel and start my loop, and then I go up to the tip to finish my loop. Just keep rolling until it's closed. And those are pretty opposite. I might not have to adjust them by some miracle. I'm gonna open this loop that I just made and close it again to get it, make sure it's good and closed. Now I'm going to go down here and open this loop and thread my little leaf on here. Close the eye pin back. And now I'm going to take my ear wire, thread my earring on. Close it back. Oh, there's my earring. I managed to get them both up here on my hand together. Yeah, I can hold them that way. Oh, there's my earrings. So hold on, I'll get my other necklace and we'll work on that one, so I'll be back. Okay, this is my second necklace that this is a strung necklace, and I've already got it all strung up. I'm using the 4mm matte turquoise beads that came in the dollar bead bag, the 7x18mm check glass peeled olive beads that came in the box. They're matte aqua green. These are the check glass tabular oval beads, 9x12mm, that came in the box. They're light aquamarine opal. I've got a little bell from my stash. And this is the check glass twisted rectangle. It's 13x22mm. It's also light aquamarine opal. And I've already made the pendant part here. This is when I thought I was going to do a finished jewelry video. So I went ahead and did that part. I just put this on a ball head pin and made a wrapped loop just like I did with the leaf on that other necklace. And then I've got one of the little 4mm fire polish beads on an eye pin, and I did a simple loop and attached it, and then attached it to my bell. And this necklace is a little bit asymmetrical. I've got seed beads between all the beads except here where I've got like 3 fire polish beads together. I don't have seed beads between them, so I've got 3 fire polish beads, a seed bead, and then I've done that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then I have 1 seed one fire polish bead by itself, and then one of the peeled olive beads, and one of the oval beads, another peeled olive beads. I've got fire polish beads between these, another fire polish bead, another oval bead, 3 fire polish beads on this side of my bell, 3 fire polish beads on this side of my bell. I've got a couple of little seed beads under this bell so that the bell's not rubbing directly against the bead stringing wire. And on this side I've got one of the oval beads, fire polish bead, and then 3 of the peeled olive beads with fire polish beads between. So I've got 2 of the peeled olive beads on this side and 3 on this side, and now I've got 2 of the oval beads on this side and 1 on this side, so it's a little bit asymmetrical. And then on this side I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of the 3 fire polish beads with seed beads between them. The reason I put this extra seed bead over here is because it made it balanced, it made it hang even. When I didn't have this on here, it made it hang uneven. So I put that extra bead there to make it a little bit more balanced. And now I'm going to crimp it. I've got it on my 21 strand soft flex beading wire and fine. It's the satin silver color. And now I'm going to crimp. And I've got a 2x2 crimp tube here and a wire guardian. Come down the other channel of the wire guardian. Go back into the crimp tube. Hold my wires apart so they don't get crossed in there. I need to zoom in just a little bit more now. Now I'm going to take my crimping pliers and I'm going to take that part with the tooth there and I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube and squeeze. It makes that little divot in there. And I like to use these other crimping pliers to fold my crimp. Those little half circles at the end there, you can do it with the others. You can do it all with these. But I just like to use the different ones for different things. I'm going to squeeze my crimp, give it a good tight squeeze. And I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my wire. And I use a different pair of cutters for bead stringing wire than I do for craft wire and head pins and eye pins. So now I'm going to push this down and crimp the other side. Cut it off my spool here. I'm going to take another crimp tube, another wire guardian, go down the other channel of my wire guardian, back into my crimp tube, trying to keep my wires from being crossed. And I like to go through a bead on this side if I can to get my hands out of the way and center my wire guardian over the last bead. Now I'm going to try to look and make sure my wires are not crossed. hold on to my wire guarding and pull my wire through. And I don't want there to be any slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight. So I usually leave it coiled up like this so that it won't be too tight. But I'll leave it even a little bit looser than that because I'm going to put these crimp covers on here, and they take up a little bit of room. So even if it's not tight when you get done crimping it, it can get tight when you put your crimp covers on there. So I'm going to try to leave even a little bit more room than I usually do. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and lay my tooth on top. I didn't do a very good job of getting my hands out of the way. Lay the tooth on top and squeeze. Now I'm going to take my other crimping pliers and fold my crimp. Give it a good tight squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what I've got now. So now, hold on, I'll get my crimp covers to put on here. I'll be back. Okay, I've got one of my crimp covers on one side. I'm going to do the other one now. I'm going to put my crimp cover over my crimp tube. And I'm going to take my crimp cover closing pliers and I'm going to start to close it and try to get it closed enough that I don't have to hold it with my finger. Like that. Now I'm going to go in there with the little half circles there. And then I'm just going to start closing it just really gently. Go back and forth from front to back, side to side, to try to keep it as round as I can. Alright, so now I've got a couple of pieces of chain. These are, I think these are not hardly 4 inches long. They're maybe 3 3/4, something like that. And I've got some 4mm jump rings. I'm going to put a chain on one side. Chain on the other side. Now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. my lobster clasp on here. And now I have an 8mm jump ring. I'm going to put on the other side. And I have a little piece of extender chain that's about 2 inches long. Now I have to make a little dangle to go off my extender chain. I had one of these oval beads left, so I'm going to use it for my dangle. I'm going to take another one of these very thin, soft ball head pins. Put my bead on there. Take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Around those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. This part under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Bent chain those pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down, push this up a little, and take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. I wrap that really close to the bead. There we go. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and tuck them a little burr. Now I'm going to open up the end of my extender chain. And thread on my dangle. Close my little link back up. So there's my dangle. And there's my necklace. So hold on, get my earrings. Make a little pair of earrings, so I'll be back. Okay, I've got one of my earrings made here, and I know these don't exactly match the necklace because I'm using the 8mm check glass acid etched druck beads that came in the box, and I'm using the 12 by 14mm check glass starburst beads that came in the box. The druck beads are pastel green, and the starburst bead is opaque turquoise. And then I have two 3mm matte turquoise, I think is what it was called. Yeah, matte turquoise beads that came in the dollar bead bag. So these are just like the little fire polish beads are just like the fire polish beads I used in the necklace, except these are 3mm and those were 4mm. And of course I don't have any of the druck bead or the starburst bead in the necklace, so it probably doesn't exactly match, but it's pretty much the same color, so I just decided to go ahead and make them to go with it. So I'm going to take one of these ball head pins, warm it up a little. I'm going to put my starburst bead on here. And take my pliers, go to the tip of the pliers, bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle, round those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, round those pliers facing me, bend the pin back until it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. I bent chain those pliers and hold onto my loop. Bring this part down, push this part up a little. Now I'm going to take my other pair of bent chain those pliers and start to wrap. Wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off the extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck them on little burrs. I think I need to straighten this loop up. It's not very straight. There we go. I'm going to take an eye pin, open up my eye pin. I don't know why I didn't do that on the earring I made earlier. It's always easier to open the eye pin if you don't already have a bunch of beads on it. I'm going to close my eye back. Now I'm going to take a fire polish bead, a seed bead, my druck bead, a seed bead, and another fire polish bead. And I'm going to make a simple loop just like I did on those other earrings, and I'm going to make it opposite the loop down here so that my little starburst bead will hang facing out. I know it's going to spin around a lot anyway, but so I'm going to go a little bit above the bead so I don't crack my bead. Bend the pin over at a 90-degree angle. Cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. Take my round those pliers and roll back a loop like I did before. It's not very even. Let's see if I can get in here with my pliers and kink my neck back a little bit more. I think I might have distorted this entire eye pin. I don't know. I'm going to take my 2 pairs of pliers and twist them around the way I need them to be. Open this and close it back up. Oh, I have done something to this eye pin. It's got all out of whack. I don't know how I've done this. These eye pins are not thin like those ball head pins are. They don't bend that easy. I don't know how I did that. Okay, I think that's straight enough. Now I'm going to take my ear wire. Open it up and thread on my earring. Close my ear wire back. So there's my earring to go with my other earring. So hold on, I'll see if I can get everything laid out all together so we can see what I got, and I'll be back. Okay, there are my 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings made with some of the beads from the August 2025 Dollar Bead Box and Dollar Bead Bag. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the Dollar Bead Box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry and some grab bags of extra beads that I have. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.